What's up, guys? I'm the Coffee Bean Jam. This is episode 3 of my scenario adventure prep playlist. Now, I've been intermingling some music in there just to kind of inspire people, get them thinking, whether it's your style of music or not. Unfortunately, I can't choose that, but at least I can give you some stuff that helps me get inspired, helps me motivate myself. Music is a big part of what I listen to and draw ideas from as I'm working on projects. So, without my rambling on here for too much longer, let's just dive into this video, if you will. So, what do we got? Well, we know that we're going to be working with the Ghostbusters. In the first session, I showed you in the first video there, I showed you some ideas on how to garner inspiration, where to pull ideas from, and how to work with that. The second video kind of covered what I was going to be doing for this prep series, what I'm drawing information from, and how I pull that information from it and start to kind of organize it. In this video, I'm going to be starting to kind of set things in stone. I'm going to draw out a quick, what I call a script for an adventure, and start putting things into order and building this adventure, really, I guess. So, one of the first things I do is, once I have a concept or an idea in my head, I'll hop over to like DeviantArt or Google search. Bing search does work sometimes too as well. But I'll generally just throw in some keywords and stuff of ideas I want. So in this case, I looked for ghost library, I looked for fantasy ghosts, I looked for Ghostbuster horror, haunted city, things like that. And I got a couple images that I liked, which I'll show you here in just a moment. And I'm going to use these to kind of pull ideas, inspire myself a little bit, and get other people interested in what I have going on here. All right. So what I have here are these 4 images. Now, this first one up here, this is one of the first ones I came across, and it just kind of had that picture of this ghostly, almost demonic-y, zombie-ish like creature kind of prowling through the city, and it had that big city in the background, the cobblestones, had that gloomy, scary sort of look. So that kind of gave me the idea, these things are starting to swarm over the city, it's becoming more numerous, things are, happening. Down here was just a cool image of a city I used, and we'll get back to this one in just a minute, but this is the kind of that gloomy, kind of advanced looking city. I mean, there's some lights and stuff going on, it looks pretty, well architecture, stuff like that. But yeah, it still has the gloomy aspect to it. Over here, this is one of the ones I picked from the library, ghosts and stuff. So this, again, is just ideas on ghosts, ways to describe them, encounters that I might use within the game, and just an inspiring photo. I just thought it was really cool and helped kind of draw in that theme and the way I wanted this game to feel. And then this last one up here, I grabbed because it reminded me of our character, this NPC that we're going to have called Dana, who is becomes possessed by this main ghostly overlord demigod sort of creature. So I thought, once the characters get to know her and stuff like that, I'll find a picture of her that fits, but when they actually encounter her possessed, this is what she looks like, this deathly, possessed, evil-like creature. From there, they're going to have to somehow save her, destroy this demigod ghost, and kind of go on. So, if we kind of go back over to this one, let's see, I don't know if this can get any bigger. Whoops. Perhaps. Oh, my screen's touchy. No, darn. But, let's see. Yeah, well, we can do it. I'll zoom in a little bit here. So what we have, I noticed these 5 little guys up here on this bridge. And so instead of having this final combat be at the top of a building or something, I'm going to have it be at the top of this bridge that is slowly starting to crumble. So they're going to have to be battling this demonic ghost creature on top of this crumbling bridge that's going down around them. And from there, they'd end up just be having a full drop right down, all the way down. So it's going to create that sort of epic encounter that I want to end this game with. So all the pictures aside, let's jump into how I'm actually scripting this and what I'm going for. So let me bring up that. So here we go. One of the things I'd like to do when I start a game is, either if it's online or if it's for friends or whatever the case might be, I always try to create some sort of cold opening, some sort of description that gives both the players or people who are interested in the game a feel for what the game is, as well as it starts putting me in the mode of writing and thinking about this game and starting to build something with. So in this case, I wrote out this little thingy, and this is what I posted over in the OSG, which I actually already did, along with those pictures to help inspire the character or the players, find people who are interested in this game, and start pushing it. In the end of this whole series, I'm actually going to have the final game recorded and streamed for people to watch, and then a campaign diary type video that kind of overcovers what happened in that game, how that corresponds with my prep that I did, and my thoughts on it. So I did this with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek kind of comedic thing. So I did, this was supposed to be a simple day of kicking back, relaxing, doing some reading and research, and enjoying the rest. But alas, an adventurer's work is never done. Even when you have the day off, somebody or something has to come along and muck it all up. Take, for example, the screaming ghost of that mutilated woman over there. Sure, she too is having a bad day, as clearly seen from the temper tantrum that she's having. But did she really need to hurl that chair at you? Did she really need to tip over the bookshelf on your friend who's now struggling to pull himself out from beneath it, while she is bearing down with her chilling touch and paralyzing screams? Well, apparently she did. And so now you're going to have to deal with it. With an annoyed grunt, you push yourself up from the table, flip the switch on your paralyzer pack, and let your weapon charge, all the while singing to yourself, when there's something strange in the city of Rule, who are you going to call? So as players read this, they start to get the sense that they're ghost hunters and that there's some horror aspect with this mutilated woman. But it ends with that tongue-in-cheek moment when they realize that this is the Ghostbusters, just done in a different setting. Instead of having their proton packs, they have a paralyzer pack, which is also a play on paranormal and paralyzing. So once I have that basic cold opening written, I give a feel for the game, and it puts me in that mindset of what I'm looking for. So then I do a theme. Obviously, my theme here is Ghostbusters. There's no pulling any strings here. It's obviously what it is. I'm going with a light comedy, some medium horror, and a high adventure. I like to kind of put these in order of maybe 2 or 3 genres or what it is I'm looking for in a game to kind of keep me motivated and keep me on the right path. With that said, I decided to go with D&D 5e for this game. I was playing with Shadow the Demon Lord, but I felt that one had a little bit more of a higher edge of horror than I wanted for this game to be. So I ended up going with 5e. Quick, simple system as well. I knew I can definitely pull in players for it. So 5e it is. The setting, we're going with a fantasy with touches of science, steampunk, and an industrial era. We're going to have the Paralyzer Pack charged weapons. And we're going to have the city with high buildings, bridges, and supports all over, so there's a lot to explore. Mainly, the focus there was because this final battle is going to be on top of a bridge. So, if you remember the last video, I went through and highlighted these different areas, things that I wanted to pull from the movie and put into my game. And it does, because this plot is already written in the plot of the movie, most of that work is already done for you if you follow this setup and do this in the same way that I'm doing it. You can still just follow the movie script or, plot script, whatever it is, and keep your game almost in that same order, and it'll work out just fine. It's, saves you work. So what do we have for the scenes? Well, we're opening in a library with a paranormal ghost activity. It's going to be a medium combat. That means sort of, that middle of the road. It's a little bit challenging, a little bit deadly, but I don't have to worry about it being this in the beginning of the game. It won't actually kill the players. That's not what I'm out to do here unless somebody has a really bad day. But it's definitely going to wear them right down. It'll be an exciting opening scene. We're going to have books flying around, tables and chairs flinging around the room. They're going to have the NPC Dana, which I'm probably going to come up with another name for, but for the time being I'm calling her Dana, who is ended up being targeted by this ghost that they're going to have to save. So there's things to do in this combat besides just roll dice, hit this creature, and it roll back. Instead, they're dodging books, they're taking cover behind tables, they're trying to get to this woman who saved. One of their friends is underneath the bookshelf trying to crawl out. Their weapons are charging up. And like I said, that's going to be a medium combat. From there, when this combat ends, the goal is for them to save this NPC, and then they're going to be contacted by their mentor, their boss, the scientist figure that creates their weapons and employs them, I guess. He's going to mention, that something big is happening, and then he needs to figure out. There's ghosts crawling all over the city. The paranormal situations have been on the rise. Something's going on. He's going to tell them that he needs a ghost for questioning, and he's going to present to them a containment cube. Normally, they were out to banish and kill these ghosts and send them off to the afterworld or whatever. Instead, he's created this cube of some sort that once they use these weapons that they have to get a hold of this creature, instead of banishing it, they're going to have to open this box and entrap it. That way, they can take it back to the scientist, and he can question this ghost. So he's going to, mention all of this to them. Something big's happened. If they need to figure out, then he needs a ghost for questioning. He's going to offer them this containment cube. And then I'm going to give the players a chance to rest, because I don't want to send them out into the city when they're already at half resources or whatever this medium combat takes a toll on. So it's going to give them a chance to rest. During that rest time is when I can play up this NPC, Dana, they met, create some character and NPC connections, and get them interested in her. We're going to fast forward to the next day. The scientist guy here is going to get them all set up. He's going to give them this cube, and he's going to say, okay, there's a ghost going on here. Go out, get this thing. Let's bring it back. Get it for some questioning. So they're going to go out. It's going to be a real minor combat. I'm looking at maybe a 2 or 3 round combat, something quick. It's not going to be anything powerful. Just a chance for them to, a little bit of excitement right in the middle there, and a chance for them to use out this new containment cube gadget that they have. From there, they're going to return to the scientist. They're going to be able to take this ghost out of his containment cube. They're going to talk to it. They're going to learn of the impending doom on the city, that there's a portal at Dana's building that's beginning to open. And it's going to kind of start mocking them, saying that Dana's in trouble, so on and so forth. And it seems to have a lot of information that it shouldn't have had, or, it has insight to some stuff. This ghost is going to basically mock the players, piss them off and stuff, eventually to the point where either they banish it or they realize that something big's going down, Dana's in trouble. The scientist, it's also going to kind of, mention that this ghost demigod is coming to the city and is going to destroy it and take over the world, or whatever the case might be. So from there, the scientist wants this ghost demigod stopped. Obviously, everybody's going to want this thing stopped because they don't want the world to end. From there, he gives them a stronger, more permanent cube. And he's like, if you can get the ghost into this, we can banish it permanently, destroy it, and trap it something so that we never have to deal with this again. Because maybe this happens every 1,432 years or something. I don't know. So from there, they're going to rush to save Dana. This is going to be the next major scene. They're going to realize shit's going down. They need to get to Dana and save her, as well as figure out where this portal is, stop this creature. So, as they kind of head out into the city, probably put it later in the evening, they're going to notice that people are starting to kind of go crazy a little bit. They're starting to see strange imps and other creatures crawling out from windows and portals to hell. And on their way, they're going to see this bright flash in the distance up on top of this bridge or something. They realize the portal's opening, we need to get there. So they're going to be hauling ass to the city, and that's when I'm going to have them ambushed by some cultists, or I'm assuming cultists, that kind of worship and revel this demigodish ghost creature, demon creature, whatever it is. And that basically is going to waylay them. It's going to be a real minor combat. So again, only 2 to 3 rounds probably. It's going to deplete a little bit of their resources, mainly because they're going to be in a hurry. So they're going to try and get this combat out of the way as fast as possible so that they can get to Dana. But by doing that, they're probably going to use some of their medium or higher end spells or resources to hurry up and just get this out of the way so they can get to where they're going. So it's basically a minor combat for some excitement, but also deplete their resources. I'm just going to keep kind of pressing that whole thing. The gates are opening, the city's in danger, that they need to hurry. They're going to be reaching the building. They're going to realize they need to get to the top of this thing, and that's where I'm going to create a skill encounter. I'm going to do another video on how I create skill encounters, or adrenaline encounters, as I like to call them. Which is basically, it's more than most skill encounters. They want to climb up this bridge. The BC or the DM will be like, yeah, go ahead, give me a climb roll of a DC 16. They roll it, succeed, and they climb to the top. It's done. Move on with the thing. I try to make mine a little more interesting, a little more almost like it's a combat within itself. So we'll go over that in another video when I actually build that. Once they reach the top, they're going to find Possessed Dana, which is that picture that we had down here, this one right here. She's going to be looking all messed up and not quite her sexy self. Then they're going to notice when they kind of look back down, the city is under a mass attack by these demon creatures that are just swarming through the city, killing people and destroying buildings. That's when we're going to enter our final scene. This is going to be a major combat, challenging, deadly combat. It's going to be a battle atop. Instead of the rooftop, I swooped it over to a bridge. So let's change that real quick. Bridge. So it's going to be narrow. Things are going to be coming from different angles at them. It's going to have difficult terrain going on. This bridge is going to be crumbling. Excuse me. They could be knocked over the side. Things like that. They're going to notice that the city's on the losing end of this battle. The longer they take, or the what they do, it's going to be making it more and more likely that the city is destroyed. In order to get through the steps, they're going to need to exorcise Dana to get this creature out of her. They're going to want to keep her safe. They're going to have to battle against this ghost and this demigod demon and either kill it, banish it, or entrap it in the cube that they were given. It'll be interesting to see as things start to escalate if the players even try to save Dana. Maybe they just destroy her in the hopes that it will destroy the creature, in which case I'll probably have the creature burst out of her, killing her. Or, if Dana's going to live through this or not, it's kind of up to the players to find out what happens. Ultimately, in the end, they save the day, the PCs become heroes, and the city begins to rebuild. That would be kind of the ending scene, the rolling credits, and I'll end it with a potentially happy note, assuming they don't live, or they do live. So, as you can see, I just took the basic things that they already had here, and I put them into a more fantasy setting, tweaked things around, changed a little bit, but the whole premise is still Ghostbusters. Players will probably recognize it, especially if they've read, my opening thing here. It's Ghostbusters. Like I said, I'm not pulling any strings here and not really trying to hide it. I want that feeling of Ghostbusters. That's what I'm presenting it as in a fantasy setting. So, hopefully this gives you some ideas. Hopefully you can look through, find that movie that you want to run, pull the plot scenes out of it, the encounters, and start building something. And I was able to kind of stay in this mindset and stay with this theme because of I already jotted down what my themes were, what my setting. I'm in that mindset, and that's what I'm working with. So things will stay in that kind of setting. So next video, we're going to start creating a couple encounters. I'll show you how I go through that. We're going to do the skill encounter or the adrenaline encounter. I'll go through that, and then we're going to kind of format this to the final script, and it will be ready to run. So once again, guys, thank you for watching. Give me a like and subscribe if you want, and keep rolling those dice.